Hello, I'm Sneha Koshi, and breaking news that is coming in. Former Pakistan President and Army Chief Pervez Musharraf has died at the age of 79. He was in Dubai after a long bout of serious illness. Former Pakistan President and Chief of Army Staff Pervez Musharraf died at the American hospital in Dubai. He was 79. There's no official communication if his body will be brought back to Pakistan, though his family has been trying to bring him back home since last year. His organs were reportedly malfunctioning because of an ailment. This disease affects connective tissues. Facing charges back home for the assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto in 2007, Musharraf has been living in Dubai for the last 7 years. I'm being joined by my colleague Maha Siddiqui for more on this. Maha, this news now emerging that Mr. Musharraf is no more. He has died. He was on what is seen as a self-imposed exile in Dubai. How is this going to be seen in Pakistan as well as in India?
Well, Sneha, he was ailing for a very long time, and he was suffering from a rare heart condition, amyloidosis as it is called. And he was in the hospital in Dubai. In fact, since 2016, he hasn't returned to Pakistan as well. He was charged with treason, Sneha, for trying to change the constitution in 2007. This was the time that he was the president of Pakistan, serving as the president of Pakistan. And also, Sneha, he was accused in at least 2 cases. One was the killing of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, and also in the Red Mosque case. So there were several cases against him here. Apart from that, also the fact that he was charged with treason, and then he left the country, Pakistan, in 2016, hasn't come back since.
Right. Maha, in fact, there were attempts at least at some point to return to Pakistan. He also wanted to contest elections, and he had floated his own party. But he was not allowed by the commission in Pakistan to contest elections. Subsequently, even last year, there were attempts by the family to fly him back to Pakistan. But as of now, no confirmation whether his body will be brought to Pakistan.
Yes, as of now, those details are not available because this information that he has died has only just emerged. So we'll have to wait to see what the family says in this case. But despite having served as the Army General, despite having served as the President in Pakistan, we know the situation in Pakistan politically as it exists. Politically, it has been acrimonious. He has had his career ups and downs. As we know, when he tried to change the constitution in 2007, being charged with treason as well. So it wasn't like a smooth sailing for him in that sense. And whether he would or his family would like to bring him back, bring his body back to Pakistan for the burial, those details really at the moment are not available. He was 79. He had been suffering for quite some time from this rare health condition, amyloidosis, as I was pointing out. He had been away from Pakistan since 2016, so it's almost been over 6 to 7 years that he hasn't been in the country as well. So those details by the family have not yet been shared. But at the moment in Pakistan, since the political situation is such that right now there is a government, a PPP government. He has been accused of in the killing of Benazir Bhutto, who was in fact the PPP leader herself. So under these circumstances, what course of action the family takes, we really don't know. Those details are yet to be shared with the public or the media. But right now, the only information available is that Pervez Musharraf has died. He was suffering for a very long time, battling a rare health condition called amyloidosis. He was 79, and he died in the Dubai hospital. It's called the American hospital in Dubai.
Right. Thank you, Maha. But please stay on with us. Let me just get in my colleague Yusra for more on this. Yusra, a top Pakistan military officer who took power in 1999 in a coup, and he was a president for almost 7 years in Pakistan. What are you hearing as reactions in Pakistan?
At the moment, what we have seen is the first official statement being issued. The ISPR has issued a statement of confirmation and condolence. They condole the death of their former general and show solidarity with the bereaved family. Furthermore, we do not know any details regarding the general's last rites and where they will take place. Family sources have confirmed to us that he has indeed passed away in a Dubai hospital. Whether he will be brought back for burial to Pakistan at the moment remains to be ascertained.
Right. Yusra, just to recap to our viewers, Pakistan former President Musharraf had actually moved to Dubai in what was seen as self-imposed exile. There were attempts by him at some point to even return to Pakistan, but he was not, and he had floated a party to contest elections as well, but he was barred from contesting those elections. Subsequently, there were also attempts to return to Pakistan, at least by his family. Give us a context in which he had to move to Dubai and his attempts to return to Pakistan, Yusra.
Following being charged with treason, General retired Pervez Musharraf did choose to take self-imposed exile in Dubai. But when the news regarding his return was floated upon the news of his ill health, I did speak with family members who did confirm to me that in fact he was too ill to be brought back to Pakistan. His health did not permit it, and his doctors were all in Dubai, therefore he would remain there. Whether or not his last wish will be granted and he will return to Pakistan to find a resting place in his home country is yet to be seen. We await an official statement from the family. What we have seen at the moment is a statement issued by the Pakistan military. The ISPR has issued a statement confirming the death of their former chief of army staff and standing in solidarity with the bereaved family. Neha?
Right. Yusra, thank you for joining us with those details. Maha, let me hand it over to you.
Yes, Neha, let me go across to Lieutenant General Raj Qadian, who's joining us on the phone line now. Sir, information coming in of Pervez Musharraf having died after fighting a rare health disorder there. He's passed away in Dubai is the details that are available. But at the moment, sir, take us back through the time when he, as the army chief, was considered the main architect of Kargil. In that sense, how, is this going to be viewed? Is this, a chapter closing? Lieutenant General Qadian, are you there with us, sir? Let me go across to Satish Dua. We don't have Lieutenant General Qadian over there. We'll try and reconnect with him. Mr. Dua, the same question, considering that Pervez Musharraf was seen as the architect of Kargil. The situation at the moment, even though, he has passed away, we've just heard that information coming in. But clearly, is that one of the events that he would really be recalled for in history, the kind of conflict that he created between India and Pakistan?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Firstly, just to correct you, this is Lieutenant General Satish Dua, so that your viewers get the right perspective. You're right. He would, General Musharraf, he would be remembered more for the Kargil war than anything else, perhaps. Actually, it goes back when he was a brigadier. When he was a brigadier, his brigade, he's a special services group officer, special forces officer, and he had his forces launch an attack at Siachen, at one of the posts at Siachen Glacier. In fact, my own battalion was there defending it. And that attack was repulsed. Several attacks were repulsed on those particular days in September 1987. I think this is what has been read and said about him, that he carried that grouse always against the Indian Army. And in 1999, when he launched the Kargil intrusions, he was the chief, as everyone knows, and you spoke about. That was a very dastardly act. In unheld areas, they used Pakistan Army to try and dominate the lifeline that we have to all the forces in Ladakh, in Leh region. And these heights were dominating that particular road which led up all the logistic supplies for the troops at Siachen and in the Leh Ladakh region, which would also inconvenience the civilians anyway. And well, what happened in the Kargil conflict is well known, but how the Pakistani army was routed from there, despite Pervez Musharraf's and his team's soldiers' best attempts. Thereafter, well, he did take over. I mean, there was a coup, and he did take over the rule of the country. And he is been known to sabotage several good deals. And we all know that even as president, at some time, some effort was being made at peace talks, but eventually nothing did materialize out of that also. So yes, I would say, despite his not being able sabotaging the peace talks, despite his support to the Kashmir issue, overall as chief and as president, but he would still be remembered more for Kargil in our memories.
Yes. Lieutenant General, do stay on with us, sir. I'll go across to Lieutenant General Qadian as well now, who is back with us on the line. Lieutenant General Qadian, Lieutenant General Dua just, gave us a brief overview of Pervez Musharraf and the manner in which the Kargil conflict, he was the architect of the conflict and how it panned out. Help us understand how it is when an army general who's seen as the person who waged a war against a country is then to be associated in terms of a civilian position that he holds as a president. He was president later on, and India had to engage with him. How that kind of a conflict that a country feels engaging with an architect of a conflict that was waged against India in that sense. What is that conflict really like? And we are discussing this, of course, at a time when Pervez Musharraf, the information has come in that he has died in Dubai.
At a human level, one feels sorry that a fellow human has gone and one wishes peace for his departed soul. But as an Indian, and more so as a military man, I don't have much regret that he is gone. He basically was a controversial figure. He, of course, assumed power by overthrowing Nawaz Sharif, who had appointed him. But that is their internal matter. He had no understanding of strategic issues. He is occupying those Kargil heights and assuming that India will not react and permit our Siachen forces to be cut off from the land route, perhaps I think was totally unrealistic assumption, and he showed a very poor understanding. He had served in the command of forces, so basically his mind worked on that unconventional operations. And of course, ultimately, India threw them back. We lost some 530 odd young lives. Pakistan lost even more, and countries came on the brink of a disaster, both of them, till Nawaz Sharif ran to Clinton on 4th of July 1999, requesting him that India should be advised to cease fire and withdraw, but India refused. He had threatened that he feared that Pakistan might go nuclear. And India said, fine, let them go nuclear. As unwritten history says, we can suffer some damages, but Pakistan will be wiped out. And as a dictator, even within his own country, I think all dictators lose popularity and they kind of live in a dream world. He came back to Pakistan from exile, hoping that lakhs of people will receive him at the Karachi airport and he'll become president again. But he was facing murder charges for having murdered in Pashtun area some rebel leaders. And the court ordered his protection in the court. They sent a police escort, thanks to the Pakistani army, that on way to the court he complained of chest pain and he was sent to the naval hospital and then flown out. So he must have died an unhappy man. His dreams are unfulfilled, but that happens with all the dictators, whether it is Hitler or Mussolini, they meet a sad end. His end, luckily, was physically not sad, but psychologically must have been a shattered man. So as an Indian, I have no sympathy for a man like him. As a military man, I was myself deployed on the verge of waging a war on Pakistan if Kargil Heights had not been vacated. So we could have avoided a loss of lives in case he had shown more strategic maturity and understanding to assume that a country will not react and defend its own territory perhaps was not unrealistic for a person at his level of position. I mean, he was a president, he was also... Moreover, he kept his political leadership in the dark. It is when our Prime Minister, in a goodwill gesture, traveled over bus and met Nawaz Sharif. They were only in Kargil, which was not known to us due to our internal problems. We remained unaware of it for nearly 6 months. But he, as a general, displayed very poor understanding of the larger strategic issue. And he thought being a commando, he'll come and sit there and will keep sitting, will interdict our road that goes from Srinagar to Leh. So militarily, I think that was a poor strategy. And I don't know how many people in Pakistan were part of the plan, were taken in confidence. But Nawaz Sharif says he was not aware of it. Nobody knows what the truth is. But he is a controversial figure. He is gone. He was facing murder charges. He is gone with those charges, not reaching a logical end. But that is thanks to the Pakistani army. They will always save their ex-general. They did not let him be tried, jailed, and humiliated, because then it also has an impact on the future generals. So he was lucky that he was saved. He was living, obviously, in a world of imagination. He's coming back, hoping that he'll become president again, but I think not understanding the dynamics of the local sentiments within Pakistan. So the man is gone, and feel sorry for him as a human being, but as an Indian army man, I have not much sorrow that a person like him has gone. He could have done a lot of damage to the two countries. He did a lot of damage to Pakistan. If Pakistan ultimately got isolated, Kargil misadventure was perhaps one of the reasons. So he's done a lot of damage to Pakistan. He did a lot of damage to India-Pakistan relations. When we had very clear intentions, our Prime Minister, as I said, traveled to Lahore all the way. But then generals are made like that, some of them. He perhaps was, they get surrounded by a coterie and they get shielded by reality. So they're all telling what he wants to know, what he wants to hear. That happens with all the dictators. They don't see the larger picture. They get carried away by the praise heaped on them by their very close coterie of friends.
Right.
All right.
So he's gone.
Lieutenant General Sadyan and Lieutenant General Dua, I request both of you to stay on with us. I'll now hand it over to my colleague Sneha.
Well, thank you, Maha. My question to you, Lieutenant General Satish Dua, I'm Sneha Koshi. Just wanted to ask you, you mentioned about Kargil, but for many, at least Indians, it's not only about his role in Kargil and the subsequent infiltrations that would have been ordered by him subsequently, but also the former Pakistan President Musharraf also had key roles in fighting the 1965 war and the 1971 war with India, both of which India did win. Would you want to go through that?
Look, I made a brief mention of the Siachen, but you're right, in the larger scheme of things, as a younger officer, he went through the 65 and 71 wars as well. 1971 war, the Indo-Pak War of 1971, has left a very lasting and a very strong impression on the psyche of Pakistan when they had to formally surrender, the largest ever surrender after World War II, that they had to surrender with 93,000 soldiers, laid down their weapons in a much photographed and televised ceremony across the world. So this defeat, this humiliating surrender has left a larger impression, a larger-than-life impression on the Pakistan side, especially that of its military. And he was one of them who was smarting with that humiliation. Thereafter, as I mentioned earlier to Maha, in 1987, as a brigadier, he launched the special services groups for an attack on a post at the Siachen Glacier. And my own battalion was defending that post. 3 attacks were launched, which were repulsed by brave Indian soldiers. And that has further put a dent in his psyche, because, that kind of frustration that as a military man he must have carried as a younger officer from 71, and then personally, because it was his own brigade that launched the attack. He's a special services group officer. That means they're special forces officer. He was a little reckless, as I see him as a military officer. And I think that must certainly be the largest contributing factor for him to actually, and we all know, even go behind the back of his own political establishment, his own prime minister. I believe they were initially not kept in the loop when they made the intrusions at the Kargil Heights, seeking to dominate the road from Srinagar to Ladakh. And what happened in Kargil Wall, the brave Indian soldiers threw them out. It took 2 months of war to do that. Is a story that is well known. But that is what he will always be remembered for.
Right. Thank you, Lieutenant General Satish Dua, for joining us with these details. We are bringing you the news of the passing away, the death of Pakistan ex-President Pervez Musharraf at the age of 79. Let's take in a short break.